In this episode, we will
enjoy the best marina of our travels,
explore the touristy and the quiet parts of Puerto Vallarta,
finish preparing Green Panther for the big jump across the Pacific Ocean,
and finally leave Mexico to sail into the Big Blue.
We leave San Blas in the late morning, and calm winds make for a relaxing but slow overnight passage to Nuevo Vallarta, about 80 nautical miles south.
We arrive at Paradise Village Resort and Marina in Nuevo Vallarta just in time to see our friends Marla and Dean racing in the Banderas Bay Regatta, held every year in the Bay of Flags, or Bahia de Banderas.
Paradise Marina has easy access to the bay, is very sheltered, and popular with cruisers from all nations preparing for the Puddle Jump, which is the name for the long trip across the Pacific.
Now, Paradise Village is a touristy place, but renting a berth here is cheaper than in other marinas we stayed in, and it comes with several perks.
We have free access to pools, water slides, and all other parts of the resort.
Nicely landscaped grounds and an amazing beach.
Weekly dance shows with free drinks and snacks. Free weekly shuttles to Costco, and bumpy but free bus rides to the nearby town of Puerto Vallarta.
Now, Puerto Vallarta wasn't always a resort and party town. Back in the early 1800s, the area around Puerto Vallarta was mostly inhabited by fishermen, pearl divers, and smugglers. The location was ideal for smuggling operations since it allowed people to evade the nearby tax collectors at San Blas.
Puerto Vallarta started as a small fishing and farming village called Las Peñas in 1851, mainly to provide goods for the mining industry in the Sierra Madre Mountains.
Las Peñas also became a vacation destination for residents of the Sierra towns, and in 1918 it was elevated to town status and renamed Puerto Vallarta after former state governor Ignacio Vallarta.
Today, Puerto Vallarta, or simply Vallarta, has about 200,000 inhabitants and is a popular beach resort town visited by local and international tourists. Nearly 50% of the workforce is employed in tourism.
The beauty of Banderas Bay and Puerto Vallarta has also been featured in several movies, including The Swashbuckler, apparently the best and most grandiose pirate movie ever.
What could be more exciting? What could be more romantic? What could be more fun than a swashbuckler? Come and enjoy the biggest, grandest pirate adventure of all time. Swashbuckler.
The beaches are not only beautiful, but are also the outdoor studios of local artists who are renowned for their sand sculptures.
We witness a dance of the flyers, the Danza de los Voladores. This ancient Mesoamerican ritual was apparently created to get the attention of the gods and to convince them to end a severe drought, and it is still performed today.
It starts with 5 men in colorful costumes climbing up a 30-meter pole. One man sits at the top and starts playing the flute. The other 4 men have ropes tied around their legs and launch themselves from the top.
They circle the pole upside down while slowly descending to the ground as the rope unwinds. The 5th remains on top of the pole, continuing to play the flute.
In Mayan mythology, the creation of the world is associated with the bird deity, residing at the world tree, which is the center of the world.
And the 5 flying men in the ritual represent these bird deities.
The main dancer in the center, who plays the flute, also symbolizes the sun, and the 4 other birdmen represent the 4 elements of the earth. They spin around the pole to symbolize the recreation of the world. and the regeneration of life.
The 4 modern-day voladores typically circle the pole 13 times each, for a total of 52 circuits, or the number of years in an Aztec calendar round.
Later, we hitch a ride with a friend of a friend, with many other friends, in a tiny car to see a famous sailing
like 20
yacht.
people here in the car.
Last time they drove us to their house, you know how we went? We went in a dune buggy that was all open.
Oh wow!
Pipes all over.
I'm really glad we were able to convince someone to take some time off.
Sayula II S165 won the 1973-74 Whitbread Round the World race, skippered by her Mexican owner Ramon Carlin. This unique and unexpected victory of Sayula II was recently featured in the documentary film The Weekend Sailor.
17 yachts from 7 nations are setting out on the world's longest ocean race. 7 months and 27,000 miles of hard sailing.
Mi padre me preguntó, ¿y le damos la vuelta al mundo? Y le dije, por supuesto que sí, no hay problema.
Sayula is the most international boat in the race, skippered by her Mexican owner, Ramon Carlin.
On another day, we set out to leave the touristy streets of Puerto Vallarta behind us to explore the less touristy parts of town.
We discovered the places where the locals meet.
Stroll by the Arts and Community Center.
Check out the creek where local wildlife and families go to cool off.
Relax with a cerveza at the beach. And enjoy a magnificent sunset.
Once the sun goes down, the city doesn't go to sleep. On the contrary, the fish markets are still going strong, and the streets and restaurants come alive.
Cost-conscious cruisers usually end up at the street taco stands, where you can get a delicious meal for only a couple dollars.
Looks good.
The nightlife is now in full swing. Local dance groups perform on a plaza. And some out-of-place looking creatures roam the streets.
The nightlife on the Malecon, the main boardwalk, is getting going as well.
But we are not here to party. We need to get our boat ready for the Pacific crossing. Parts for sailboats are harder to get in Mexico, and they are also much more expensive than in the US. So we placed several online orders, and Alena flies back to visit her family in Oregon.
By the light of my bicycle, I saw a raccoon. I was rolling.
And she returns with a suitcase full of boat parts and more.
While in Oregon, I also finished sewing a new sail cover for Green Panther, and we can now mount it using a lazy jack system. This means whenever we drop the sail, it will fall straight into this cover. No more flaking the sail and then trying to wrap a cover around it.
Next to sewing projects, we have many other items on our to-do list. And working on too many things at the same time can easily create chaos on a small sailboat.
Number 1 on our list is to check the rigging, since we will be counting on it if the weather gets nasty out there.
Rigging work is fun.
And we indeed discover that one of our mast steps is loose and needs fixing. This was a good catch.
Next, we are visiting a guy on his boat who is selling some of his cruising equipment, including a used backdoor modem. This is quite a rare find and will allow us to send short text emails via our ham radio, without charge. Well, once we figure out how to connect it all. But luckily, Radio Rob, a friendly local ham radio operator, helps us out.
Then there is the installation of our wheel-mounted autopilot. Connecting the main unit to the cockpit display turns out to be quite complicated and involves spending several hundreds of dollars on connectors. Eventually, we just cut the wires to connect them directly.
And there are many more projects with the results that we keep postponing our departure. But we are not the only ones preparing for the big jump across the Pacific.
Our new neighbor is John Berg, a blind sailor on the boat Sequel, which is specially equipped to be sailed by him. He has a crew of 3 and is nearly ready to start his trip to Hawaii.
Other cruisers in the marina, who have also been finishing preparations, set sail already, and we watch them leave, anxious to do the same.
But we are not quite there yet.
So we should be leaving in 2 days. Both sails need some work. We have to stitch the Genoa and also fix the tiny part in the mainsail.
We thought we'd have all this extra time since we're leaving a week later than we originally thought we would.
Yeah, so we have 2 days left and the water maker is not working right now. The boat is a big mess. But we still think we can leave in 2 days, right, Alena?
Well, we'll see. We're cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
Then there is also the provisioning. Luckily, food is cheap in Mexico, and there is a Costco nearby, so we buy heaps.
So where are you gonna store all this stuff?
I don't know, I thought I might throw some of your tools overboard and use those lockers for the food.
That's not a good idea.
It'll be a challenge to figure out where to put everything.
And eventually we get there. We hire a sailmaker to help with the mainsail.
Source a new membrane to fix the bad tasting water from our water maker. Okay. Wow, that tastes like real water.
No oily taste?
No oily taste. I can't believe that came out of our water maker.
I know.
That's awesome.
Clean a thick layer of algae off our dinghy and store it together with about 120 liters of diesel in cans on our deck.
And now we are pretty much ready to throw off the lines. Once the local wildlife is done using them, like this night heron.
The day before we leave, we run to the store one last time to stock up on all kinds of hardware, enjoy a last internet session to read the news and let family and friends know that we are finally leaving.
We are excited and a bit scared about what lies ahead. The Pacific Ocean is vast, and we will sail from Nuevo Vallarta, which is here, all the way to these 2 tiny dots, the Marquesas Islands, a trip of almost 3,000 nautical miles. But we are optimistic. I actually feel better prepared now than I have ever felt on one of our passages.
Good. So what are your wildest fears? What are your fears out there?
I'm fearing really big swells and rogue waves hitting us and lightning strikes.
And what do you think is going to be the best part?
Hopefully we're not going to have really bad swells and it'll just be a lot of fun. So we'll see.
And you look forward to the islands?
Of course, but we have a long passage before we hit the islands. It should be fun though. And the cabin's beautiful and clean. Everything's stowed away. We have lots of food, lots of entertainment, so we should be okay.
Well, I think we're pretty good prepared too. We did most of the stuff that's on our list, not everything, but most of it. And yeah, I think I also fear the big swells mostly. But well, I hope, as Alena said, it's not going to be too bad. We're going to see how the sail handling will be. We never used the big pole to fly our Genoa, our big chip sheet. So that's the first. I have to run a few blocks and see how that's going to go. But we'll figure it out.
Sounds good. And what are you most looking forward to?
I think I really enjoy, being in a nice, beautiful, calm anchorage with clear water on beautiful tropical islands. And I've never been to French Polynesia, so I really look forward to actually finally making it. Next morning we refuel, and then we cast off the lines and sail west to cross the Pacific.
Join us next time
when we deal with calms,
constant swells,
an unexpected visitor,
and the confinement of a small sailboat with nowhere else to go for over a month.
I know a place in Florida there, where filled we are hiding inside can be led. It's easy to give up once those there. The days miles are trades from one sail. It's possible to shout out your secret dreams there. Oh yeah, 'cause I belong to